Hi again, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing Law and Beltway Podcast Network. And the Boxing Law and Beltway Podcast Network can be heard on Spreaker.com, Stitcher.com, iHeartRadio.com, and on TuneIn. We thank you for joining us once again for some big news this week. We've got a lot of things going on this week and moving up into the end of this month into March. So we're going to talk more about that, talk about some of the results we had this past week, some upcoming bouts, and some big bouts that'll take place on what's going to be Casino Month in the Beltway in the month of March. So we have all that joining us right here on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. And of course, you can always contact me on Digital 25. Once again, subscribe to the podcast on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and on TuneIn. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network, brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain to muscle strain, everything between, Boxing Along the Beltway recommends Real Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And buy DeborahSpears.com, and she has that great weight loss tips that you can get. And you can do it without dieting, eating real food along the way. She's selling a book on that. And, of course, she sells that great jewelry on her site. So go to Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Well, a lot going on this week, and this whole month has started off very big in the Beltway. And, of course, we started off on Friday, February the 1st with Largo, Maryland, super middleweight now, Dominic Lights Out Wade. He showed no ring rust despite being out since his loss to Gennady Golovkin back in April 2016. He demolished Martin Fidel Rios of Argentina. That was in the first round knockout this past Friday, February the 1st, at the Main Street Armory in Rochester, New York. Now, according to FightNews.com, Wade scored two crushing knockdowns. One was right hand, another from the left hand to the head. That sent Rios to the canvas for the count. The time of the knockout was 1 minute and 48 seconds. Wade is now 19-1 with 13 KOs. Rios falls to 23-19-4 with 13 KOs. So it looks like Dominic Wade is back, and he's trying to get himself prepared for a world title shot maybe in the near future. So congratulations to Dominic Wade. Also on that card, by the way, 7 Maryland heavyweights, Sherman the Tank Artis. He lost by first round knockout to Ronnie Too Much Hines of Cleveland, Ohio. Hines knocked down Artis 3 times, all with body shots. Artis was forced to take a knee each time he went down. Bout was stopped by the 3 knockdown rule, 146 of the first round. So Artis is now 3-4, and Hines is 4-0. All 4 wins coming by knockout. All 4 wins coming in the first round. So tough break for Sherman Artis, who again just boxes too infrequently. He takes years off between bouts, and so it's kind of tough for him to do that. Now, of course, this week coming up, this Saturday, February the 9th, the big thing is, of course, the matchup for WBA Super Featherweight Championship bout with Gervonta Tank Davis out of Baltimore, Maryland. He now takes on Hugo Cuartito Ruiz. We talked about this last week, of Glendora, California, by way of Mexico. Davis is 20-0, 19 KOs. Ruiz 39-4, 33 KOs. 39-4, 33 KOs. Now, we had a little update on what happened to Abner Mares, who's scheduled to be in the bout with Gervonta Davis. By the way, the bout's going to be at Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California, and the bout will be televised live on Showtime. But we heard about what happened to Abner Mares. It was more than just the elbow. Now, he's had problems with his elbow in his last couple of bouts, but this time we're hearing that it's more painful and more devastating, in all honesty, because he ended up having to get surgery for a detached retina, and that's no joke. You know, of course, the legendary Sugar Ray Leonard had that after his bout with Kevin Howard, and really was on the shelf for a number of years. And of course, I remember Sugar Ray Seals had that as well, and never got really going back again. And of course, now they've made a lot more medical advancements, so hopefully this won't keep Abner Mares out very long. But he's going to be out for a while, no question about that. By the way, on Facebook, a great message by WBC featherweight champion Gary Russell Jr., who wished for his good health and said, we fight each other in the ring, but we're all part of a fraternity outside the ring. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what Gary Russell said on Facebook, and it was really a touching tribute for Gary Russell Jr. for Abner Martin. So we wish him the very best. No question about that. We don't want to see anybody get seriously hurt, no matter who they are, and we just pray for his recovery. Now, again, that bout is on Saturday, February the 9th. I believe it starts at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Showtime. And the bout we televised live there. So that's Gervonta Davis taking on Hugo Ruiz for Davis's WBA Super Featherweight Championship. Now, closer to home, on Saturday, February the 9th at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland, we have an amateur show. It's called the Next Generation Amateur Boxing Show. Of course, it's kind of a good prelude to the Golden Gloves, which will be the next week, Saturday, February the 16th. That'll get in the way. So that show will be at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington. It'll start at 4 p.m. Ticket prices are adults for $20, kids coming in at $10. I believe it's 12 and under. And you can call 301-532-8169. That's 301-532-8169 for the amateur boxing show, the Next Generation Show. Tony Valley Association is putting that together, and it'll be at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland, at 6336 Rosecroft Drive in Fort Washington, starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, we have another show, the February 9th show at Norfolk, the Masonic Temple, Norfolk, Virginia, coming up, and that's the Ponytail Promotions and Rising Star Promotions card. That'll be on Saturday, February the 9th at the Masonic Temple in Norfolk, Virginia. Don't want to forget that. Now, we have an update. Of course, we gave you the February schedule last week. We have a big update to that schedule. And this is a big one. This is a pretty big one for this guy. And he's had a couple big ones in the past. Had one big one in the past and didn't get it done there, but he has a big one here. This is on Saturday, February the 23rd, and it features Baltimore, Maryland light heavyweight Travis Severe Reeves. He has another opportunity for a regional title when he takes on undefeated Anthony Yard of Ilford, Essex, England, and that'll be for Yard's WBO Intercontinental light heavyweight title. It'll be the Leicester Arena, I believe that's how it's pronounced, in Leicester, England. And so this will be an interesting situation here. Reeves is 17-3-2 with 7 KOs. He's coming off a 10-round unanimous decision win over Linnell Bellows. That was on January 17th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Good performance for Reeves in that bout. He knocked down Bellows a couple of times going into unanimous decision win. Reeves is a former USBO light heavyweight and Maryland State cruiserweight champion. He's one of our prospects of the year a couple of years ago in the Beltway. He also challenged for the IBO World Light Heavyweight Championship. That didn't go very well. He got knocked out by Kato Murat in that bout there. Yard, meanwhile, is 17-0, 16 KOs, making the 5th defense of this title, WBO Intercontinental Championship. He won that way back in September 2017. In his last outing, Yard fought, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Yard, last fought on October 20th, scored a 4th round TKO over Walter Gabriel Sakita. That was in Brentwood, England. Now, Yard is also the WBO European champion, but that belt, is not on the line. So, best wishes for Travis Reeves. Hopefully he's already there, or at least on his way there, so he can get used to the time change and things of that nature in England. He's been overseas before, so he should know how to do this. So hopefully that'll be it. And he's got a tough task. Yard is no joke, so we'll see. So that'll be on Saturday, February 23rd. That'll be in Leicester, England, for the WBO Intercontinental Light Heavyweight title. February the 23rd. And of course, February the 15th, Michael Professor Fox against Shohojan Ergashev. That's on Showtime as well, on Showbox on Friday, February the 15th. So again, huge month with the Golden Glove starting on the 16th as well. Huge month of February. But as big as the month of February is, that may pale in comparison, at least in the Beltway, to what's going to happen in March. And it's so big and so hot that we got to talk about it this week. We can't wait to put together a March calendar for you, because March is going to be casino month in the Beltway because we have 2 cards that will be held at 2 of our casinos in the Beltway area. Okay, so that's going to be a interesting situation coming up on first starting on Friday night, March the 8th. Friday night, March the 8th. And this will be our next pro card in the Beltway. And it'll be at the Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland. This will be a Jetta Promotions card. And, of course, Jetta Promotions, this will be their second at Live Casino. And their first one was back on August 18th. And it was our Beltway Boxing Card of the Year. And hopefully when Juan and I get together, hopefully the Golden Gloves, we'll be able to go over our selections for our bouts of the year. We haven't had a chance to do that because we haven't been together recently. Juan actually recovering from knee surgery, so wish him the very best. So, but we haven't gotten together for that. But I tell you, this card is going to be one of the most interesting cards I've ever done. And I'll tell you why. Going into it, I have some misgivings about it because I don't like to see a lot of all Beltway encounters. And this card is full of them. Okay? They're full of all Beltway encounters. However, one of the Beltway encounters at least means something because at least it's for some sort of a title. But at the same token, I'm still wondering why this bout's taking place. And then you have some other ones that are actually pretty good matchups. But again, you wonder whether or not they're happening too soon. And so I'm a little conflicted about some of the bouts on this card, scheduled for this card. But put them all together, I think you got a pretty good card. At least the fans should love it. No question about that. Let's go over this card real quick. This is, once again, Friday night, March the 8th at Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland. This is the casino that's located at Arundel Mills Shopping Center. Now, the main event of this card is the one I have some of the misgivings about. It'll be a matchup for the vacant Maryland State Super Middleweight Champion as the championship. Damon the Best at It Nicholson out of Laurel takes on Jesse the Beast Nicklow out of Baltimore. Now, Nicholson, whose record is 20 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw with 19 KOs, he's the reigning WBC USNBC Super Middleweight Champion. Now, he won that title on that last Live Casino card on August 18th. He knocked out Isaac Rodriguez in the 6th round. He had a great performance in that one. This one, definitely one, I think, his best performance as a pro. He followed that up with his first defense of the title on December 8th. He scored a 2nd round knockout over Fernando Castaneda in Bowie, Maryland. Now, here's the reason why I have misgivings on this card. Observing this, it looks like Nicholson is taking a step back in competition, as well as, and that's not to defame Nicklow in any way, shape, or form. We'll talk about him in a second. But you've just won the biggest belt of your career and probably your best performance in the career. You come off a tough loss against Jesse Hart, come back and put together, again, arguably your best performance in your career against one of your more talented opponents. And then you go up against Jesse Nicklow for a Maryland State title. You usually would think the state title would come first, followed by the WBC USNBC championship. That's just my opinion, and I hope I don't insult either Nicklow or Nicholson because of this. But I got to be honest, it made, when I first heard about the card, it made very little sense to me. To be perfectly honest with you, it made very little sense to me going forward. So we'll see what happens, and I think that Nicholson is really in a no-win situation. You know, he's supposed to be Jesse Nicklow, who's had a 13-year career. You know, again, we'll talk about him in just a second. But if he loses to Nicklow, his career gets sidetracked, you know, maybe permanently. I don't know. So that's the weirdness about this particular main event. Okay? So we'll see. Now, Nicklow, 27-9-3, 9 KOs. And after 13 years, and we've watched Nicklow's career literally from the very beginning as a pro. You know, he was our very first Beltway Boxing Rookie of the Year way back in 2006. And in 13 years, this will be Nicolo's very first attempt at a regional title. That's amazing to me. That is truly amazing to me that he hasn't had an opportunity to fight for a regional title in the past. His last bout was on August 25th. He lost a third-round TKO to Trevor McCumbee in Glendale, California. Now, here's another interesting stat about Nicolo. Nicolo is undefeated in the state of Maryland. He's 26-0-3 with 8 KOs. 8 of his 9 KOs came in the state of Maryland. The other one came in D.C. against Larry Brothers. So this is a very interesting, kind of weird main event. I expect it to be a good one for as long as it lasts. I don't think it's going to last the distance. It's scheduled for 10 rounds. I don't think it's going to last the distance. But Jesse Nicolo goes in with nothing to lose. And Demond Nicholson really is in a no-win situation, this situation. And we'll see what happens going forward. So that's Demond Nicholson taking on Jesse Nicolo for the vacant Maryland State Super Middleweight Championship. Another Beltway bout, 6-round encounter. Undefeated Rockville, Maryland middleweight, the Cisco Kid Francisco Bustos takes on dangerous Donald Wallace of Baltimore. This could be an interesting one as well. And I think this is a better bout in a sense of competition. But again, is it a bout that is coming too early in a situation like this? Bustos, both Bustos and Wallace fought their last bout on the last Jetta Promotions card in August 18. This is one of the reasons why that card was named Card of the Year last year. Bustos scored a crushing first-round knockout over Javon John, and that was one of the candidates for Knockout of the Year, losing only to Sam Crossett's knockout on June 16th, and that was another Jetta Promotions card at the Gardens Ice House in Laurel. And actually, Bustos faced Javon John in the first bout at the Gardens Ice House. The first bout that went the distance, and that was a strong candidate for Bout of the Year in 2018, losing only to dangerous Donald Wallace's bout. Donald Wallace is 3-1-1 with, I believe, 2 KOs. And that bout, the Beltway Boxing Bout of the Year, was on August 18th, and Wallace scored a 6-round TKO over Ashton Sykes. So that's interesting as well. And Ashton Sykes was in a possible Bout of the Year candidate for 2019 just a couple weeks ago, that card in Waldorf, Maryland. So that's going to be an interesting bout as well. No question about that. So that's Francisco Bustos taking on dangerous Donald Wallace in a 6-round middleweight encounter. Another 6-round all Beltway bout. And this one could be interesting for a different reason. The Red Comet, Dante Cox out of Elk Ridge, Maryland. He'll face off with Glen Arden, Maryland's Devontae Speed Walls. Now, Cox, as you know by now, works in one of the restaurants at Live Casino. He's 3-0, 2 KOs. On the August 18th card, he scored a 3rd-round knockout, TKO, over Veron Webb. And Speed Walls is 10-1-1 with 7 KOs. He has a 2-bout winning streak that includes his 4th-round TKO over Matt Murphy. That was on the Laurel Gardens Ice House card on June the 16th. Now, this bout is interesting because you've got Cox, who's only fought 3 times as a pro, against a relative veteran by comparison in Devontae Speed Walls, who's fought 12 times as a pro, and he's 10-1-1. And this could be a battle of speed. I expect this bout, 6-rounder, could go the distance because you have 2 guys with some strong speed in Cox and Speed Walls. So that one could be very interesting as well. So that's Dante Cox taking on Devontae Speed Walls. That bout's scheduled for 6 rounds in the lightweight division. There'll be a 4-round super middleweight contest, and this bout features 2 local boxers looking for their first pro win. The return of A.J. We Are Williams of Cockeysville, Maryland. He'll take on Dameron Kirby of Washington, D.C. Williams was a former boxer collegiately at Penn State University, but he hasn't fought since April of 2013. He lost his pro debut by a 4-round majority decision to Issa Coulibaly. That's a name from the past a little bit. And that was down in Salisbury, Maryland. Kirby lost both of his bouts. He's 0-2 by a 1st-round TKO, including a loss to Cenk Plana in October 2017. That was at the Mayflower Hotel in D.C. And so that should be an interesting bout as well. Scheduled for 4 rounds. A.J. Williams against Dameron Kirby. Then in the 4-round featherweight bout, two guys who did a lot of work in the amateurs. And one of them is going to make his pro debut on this card. That one person is Ibrahima Jawara. He's out of Germantown, Maryland. He'll take on Malik Little League Lofton of Suitland, Maryland. Now, Jawara, like Lofton, was a fixture on the Beltway amateur scene. He competed in the Washington Golden Gloves, competed in the Mayor's Cup, and Jawara, I should say, also competed in the 2016 Olympic trials. Those are the trials that took place. Part of those trials was scheduled to take place in Baltimore, ended up taking place in Philadelphia. Lofton is 1-1, 1 KO. He had a great pro debut and then lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Martino Jules last February 3rd in 2018 in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So that'll be a card. That'll be about there. Ibrahima Jawara, 4-round featherweight bout against Malik Lofton. And then making his pro debut on this card is a Baltimore lightweight by the name of Brandon Chambers. And his opponent just changed, and we don't have the update on that. But Brandon Chambers will be in a 4-round bout. He's making his pro debut. He had 10 amateur bouts. Not a whole lot of amateur experience, but what is great for him is that he's a 7-year veteran of the Baltimore City Police Department. And he'll be in on this card as well. So that is Friday night, February the 8th. Friday, March the 8th. Friday, March the 8th from Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland. It's an exciting card. No question about that. Strange card, definitely. Will be interesting to see how it all plays out. And again, Jetta Promotions did an outstanding job with this one as well. So that'll be Friday night, March the 8th. We're kind of in negotiations because it's not being televised. Hopefully, we can bring you live coverage of that card. And that would be great. If we can bring you live coverage of this bout. Scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. At Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland. So that's Friday, March the 8th. Then on Sunday night, March the 24th. Sunday night, March 24th. The return of the legendary Peterson brothers, Lamont and Anthony Peterson. They will return to boxing after a long absence in a nationally televised doubleheader at the MGM National Harbor and Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland. These two feature bouts, both featuring the Peterson brothers, will be televised live by FS1, Fox Sports 1. First of all, two-division world champion Lamont Peterson will be in a 12-round welterweight contest, no title on the line as far as we know, against former world champion Sergey Samurai Lipinets of Beverly Hills, California, by way of Kazakhstan. Peterson is 35-4-1, 17 KOs. He returns to action for the first time since losing his 7-round stoppage loss to Errol Spence. That was for Spence's IBF welterweight title on January 20th of last year in Brooklyn, New York. Now, Peterson, again, this is a guy that is definitely destined for the DC Boxing Hall of Fame, maybe the Maryland Hall of Fame. I think he's kind of borderline International Boxing Hall of Fame. We'll see what happens there. But he has won 3 world titles in his career, 4 if you count the interim WBO title he won way back when. But he really became noticed in one of the greatest bouts to ever take place in the Beltway. And that was when he captured the IBF and the WBA Super Lightweight Championships, 12-round split decision win over Amir Khan at the Washington Convention Center in December of 2011. And that was, again, one of the greatest bouts we ever saw in this area. Shame because of the situation with the dope, whatever that doping was. WBA stripped the title from Peterson. But Peterson would come back and win the WBA welterweight title with 12-round unanimous decision over David Avanyeson. And that was in February of 2017 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, he gave up that title in order to face Errol Spence. So, Peterson truly one of the greatest ever come out of this area, no question about that. I'm a little surprised he's coming back in this situation. I really thought his career was over after the Spence loss. I really did. The way it was stopped with Barry Hunter having to really kind of stop the bout to stop Peterson from competing anymore. I really thought Peterson could rest on his laurels and call it a career, but he does not. He faces a tough guy though in Sergey Lipinets. He's 14-1, 10 KOs. He's a former IBF Super Lightweight champion. He won the title with a 12-round unanimous decision over Akihiro Kondo. That was in November 2017 at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Lipinets lost that title to Mikey Garcia by unanimous decision in March of 2018 in San Antonio, Texas. Lipinets will bounce back to win a 10-round majority decision over Eric Bone on August 4th in Uniondale, New York. So Lipinets' only loss was to Mikey Garcia. So this could be a tough one. No question about it for Lamont Peterson. Both these guys are relatively experienced. Again, Lipinets only has 15 pro fights, whereas this will be Peterson's 41st pro fight in his career. So we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, younger brother Anthony Peterson, he'll battle former IBF super featherweight champion Artis Mendez of Brooklyn, New York, by way of the Dominican Republic. That bout is scheduled for 10 rounds. Peterson has won 7 straight contests since his only loss to Brandon Rios in September of 2010. However, Peterson's wins have come over a 7-year period in which he only fought 5 of those 7 years. He didn't compete in 2012. He didn't compete in 2017. So this is you wonder why. I know some of it's been injuries. Some of it his opponents have pulled out. I mean, a lot of things have been going on in Anthony Peterson's career that haven't made a whole lot of sense. But, these things happen in the world of pro boxing. Now, Anthony Peterson last fought on the same January card as his brother. That card on January 20th of last year. And he won a 10-round unanimous decision over Eddie Ramirez on May 26th in Biloxi, Mississippi. Now, Mendez came back. He's 25. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Peterson won a 10-round unanimous decision over Luis Edward Flores in Brooklyn, New York. Now, Mendez is 25, 5-1, 12 KOs. He won a 10-round unanimous decision over Eddie Ramirez on May 26th in Biloxi, Mississippi. He is a former IBF super featherweight champion, as we said. He won that title in March of 2013 with a 4th-round knockout over Juan Carlos Salgado in Costa Mesa, California. Now, Mendez will lose that title to Rances Barthelemy in July of 2014 by unanimous decision. Now, interesting fact about these two guys, they both fought on the same card back at the D.C. Armory in D.C. in April 2016, April 1st of 2016. Peterson won a 10-round unanimous decision over Samuel Nikwe, while Mendez lost to Robert Easter Jr. by 5th-round TKO. And that was the card that was headlined by Adrian Broner's 9th-round technical knockout of Ashley Theophane. So this is a great month. March is already becoming a great month. Of course, the semifinals of the Washington Golden Gloves will take place during that month as well. But buckle up, folks. This is going to be a wild couple of months coming up with Gervonta Davis coming up this coming Saturday, Michael Fox next week, the Golden Gloves getting underway on the 16th, Travis Reeves in England on February 23rd, and then you have these bouts and a lot more around March as well. We'll give you a full March schedule in a couple of weeks, but we just wanted to get these two cards out already. Because they're really big. I mean, they're already very big and should be a lot of fun. No question about that. And once again, the Peterson bout, I should say, will be televised live by FS1. So buckle up, folks. As I said, it's going to be a good month and a good winter going into spring for Beltway Boxing. So make sure you're on board. Make sure you follow us each and every week here on Boxing Along the Beltway, and follow us on the blog, boxingalongthebeltway.blogspot.com. Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you once again by Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube. After you buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. And go to DeborahSpears.com. Great jewelry, great weight loss tips. Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Don't forget to visit the Best Buy and Amazon.com links on boxingalongbeltway.blogspot.com to get your items from these, and will help out Boxing Along the Beltway along the way as well. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thank you always, every week, for joining us here on Boxing on the Beltway and Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. You can hear us on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com, as well as TuneIn and on the podcast network known as Stitcher.com. Thanks for joining us. As always, keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.